Hi viewers, the Chandrababu Naidu government in Andhra Pradesh has presented its budget for the fiscal year 2024-25, and the budget itself has come with a lot of delay, a few months delay after the Chandrababu Naidu government came into power. And let's talk about where the priorities of these government's budget lies. And to discuss this, I have with me Mr. Papa Rao, an economic commentator. Hi, sir.
Hi.
So I would like to start by asking you about the delay in presenting the budget. Why has the government taken so many months, even after taking office, to present its budget?
In fact, yeah, true. In fact, there is a long delay. Uh, there is a vote on account budget in February when the YCP government is in power because it is going to face the election and is not sure. And no government is sure of getting through the election and again being elected. So always before the election, the budget that is submitted is the budget of vote on account kind. And so Jagan government also submitted, the YCP government also submitted this vote on account budget in February. So then after that, in June, AP election results started pouring in, and TDP, YCP, and BJP combined has won. They have come together in power. It is not combined actually. YCP and TDP went to poll together, and then after the election, it is an arrangement that TDP and Janasena are going to support Modi at the center, and BJP is going to join the government in the AP. So that arrangement was made, and after that, it is since June. Now it is November almost. November 10th or 12th or so. So since then, it is almost 4 months, more than 4 months. It's a long delay. It should not be like this. Then the question arose always as to why this government is hesitating to submit a budget. Why it is pulling on with that vote on account budget and whatever is there in that. Every government wants to make a mark of its own. When it comes into power, it wants to make a mark of its own, and that mark of its own is majorly done to the done through the budget. And such a budget it is hesitating to present. What is the reason for that hesitation? Anybody's guess. Maybe
Right.
we guess that it has given the Super Six. Chandrababu Naidu's Super Six is the anchor. It is the bulwark around which the entire combination of YCP, TDP, and BJP is moving. And when it comes to the Super Six, people were all saying, many people are saying that it is very difficult to fulfill all those promises which are there in the Super Six because it will cost a lot.
Yeah, that's
Behind,
what my next question was going to be about. Where do you see the budget's priorities lying? There doesn't seem to be any significant amount, budgeted for the existing projects, or not. That seems to be some clarity on, how much the government is going to spend on fulfilling the Super Six promises. So, where do you see this government's priorities lying in the budget?
actually, this budget, whatever budget is right now presented, it is for hardly 4 months. 4 months period it is going to cover. The budget is going to cover 4 months period. So not at all that much important. It is only a formality that has to be fulfilled, and they fulfilled that because they already delayed and only 4 months were left, and it just is became a formality. So, but leaving it aside whether it is a formality or not, it shows the inclination of the government or the priorities of the government in future. Though this is a formality, formal thing, and a uh, not much important thing because it is only for 4 months. But its inclination, its orientation, its priorities in this budget, they show what are the priorities of Chandrababu, TDP, YCP, and BJP for the coming 4 years in the government. So this budget has clearly shown that. So whether they are fulfilling their promises or not, that is why. How can we measure a government's performances by manifesto it gives to the people? It came to power best because we assume that the assumption is that it is because of the manifesto any party that comes into power or loses power. So this manifesto of TDP is supposed to have that Super Six thing with 20 lakh job promises and unemployment benefits, unemployment allowance, and all these many things are there in it. And all these things combined together have attracted the people of state of AP. Though people like me are warning, not only me, many economic people who are there in the economic uh, arena, They're warning that these promises cannot be fulfilled with the sort of budget you got. They are beyond the capacity of the budget you got. But they went on with those promises and they promised the sky. And right now, they have to look at the sky for fulfilling the promises. Because what is happening now is that if you fulfill all those promises, state budget won't be enough. The other thing is that sincerity, question of the sincerity in fulfilling the promises. Uh, Even if you can't fulfill all the promises, some of the promises you can definitely fulfill. Though you gave some six guarantees or six super six or whatever it might be you call for the election purpose. After coming to power, if you are very sincere, serious about doing something for the people, you can do some of those promises. You can fulfill some of those promises at least, if not all. But the budget has ignored most of those promises that were given in the Super Six. Only thing that were allowed now in this budget are one thing is this 4,000 rupees pension for pension amount was increased from 3,000 rupees to 4,000 rupees. That is done before this budget. Immediately after coming to power in June, Chandrababu made two major decisions. One is the enhancement of the pension amount from 3,000 to 4,000. There and then he made that decision. And the second decision is the mega DSC, teachers recruitment and all DSC exam. Those two are the major decisions. Later, there were no decisions as to Super 6 or whatever welfare promises that were made. And now in this budget also, there were none of those, like free bus travel for women, like in Karnataka and Telangana. That was not there in this budget. Only thing that was there, majorly that was there, I find, is that gas cylinders, 3 gas cylinders per year, free gas cylinders for women, something like that. That promise, I think so. That promise was being fulfilled in this budget. Rest of the unemployment allowance and there is no talk about this 20 lakh jobs in 5 years. So many things are there. None of them were touched upon. So I think the budget is not really an indicator. Budget is really an indicator of the things to come. Super 6 may not be fulfilled. Maybe that is what it is. And one is financial constraint. I understand financial constraints. I understand beyond a limit you cannot go. You cannot stretch your finances beyond a limit. They are always limited. But with will and seriousness and sincerity, at least some of the promises you can fulfill within the budget. That also I find in this budget. I don't think many of. I don't think none of them were there in this, excepting that. Pension increased the pension to 4,000 rupees. That was done long before. This budget has nothing new about it.
Right. And which leads me to my next question. So, the Finance Commission's recommendation of fiscal deficit for states for 2023 to 26 is 3%. And in this budget, the government projects the fiscal deficit to be 4.3%. So, in this case, like you said, how can the government fulfill its promises? One, and two, what happens to the existing projects like Polavaram and Amravati projects? Where does the government have the capacity to borrow at all in this kind of a scenario?
Let me start with Polavaram and Amravati. Polavaram is a central project. The entire responsibility of completing Polavaram project is the center's headache. But previously, before 2019, when he came to power in 2014, between 2014 and 19, Chandrababu has requested the center to give over the project to him, and he took over the responsibility of finishing the project. That is last time he did, but it is a central project. And right now also he can leave it to the center anytime or ask the center to fund it. Because it's a central project monitored by state. If at all if TDP takes it over, or Chandrababu takes it over, he monitors it and takes funds and does the rest of the completion thing or whatever it might be. So it is not a question of funds for Polavaram. It is a central project and AP's fiscal deficit is nowhere related to that. And the second thing is Amravati. Amravati, though, is a pet project of Chandrababu Naidu, but center has in this budget, recent budget of Nirmala Sitharaman, center promised to allocate 15,000 for that. It may be in the form of debt or whatever it may be loan. There is a talk about World Bank loan and all these things are talked about. So whatever it might be, there is a It is also something that is going to be arranged by the central government, I think, because of the good look, because of the goodwill Chandrababu Naidu got with the central government. For the simple reason that he is one of the important players in that stability of the government at the center, NDA government. Nitish and he, both are
Hmm.
important. So Chandrababu Naidu cannot be ignored, and his pet project not at all can be ignored. And so people at the center might definitely be providing monies to Amaravati. So these two things are not important as far as the fiscal deficit of the state of AP are concerned. They are not going to count in it. And the other
Hmm.
things that are going to count in it, if at all the fiscal deficit is more, always the fiscal deficit is more for the state of AP. The problem is that for the state of AP, it began in 2014 when the state was formed, separated from Telangana. Telangana and AP were separated. AP, a fledgling state then. It started with revenue deficit. It has all the teething problems of a newborn state without any resources. So many problems it has got, and it has revenue deficit, and it has always to look towards the center for getting things done. Because there is one thing called SOTR, state-owned tax revenue. State-owned tax revenue for Telangana is above 74 rupees or so in 2000, above 70 rupees or so, 74 or so in 2014. But AP's state-owned tax resources are only 54 rupees or so, one of the lowest in India. So rest of the monies have to come from the center. State-owned tax revenue is something which the state itself can mobilize for itself. It is very low for AP. State of AP cannot mobilize or could not mobilize much resources because it has no infrastructure of that kind. It has no industry, big industry. It is mainly an agricultural state, and whatever all industry that is there left back in Telangana. Vizag is there, but for AP, rest of it all is gone to Telangana, and so AP is a very weak industrial state. There is no manufacturing base in that, except for Vizag and few plants like steel plant and other things. Rest of the AP is not much industrially developed, very backward. And the other is services sector. Services sector is also not there in AP because previously there is the entire service sector when the state is united, it has got concentrated in Hyderabad. This IT sector and all is concentrated in Hyderabad. When the state was bifurcated, AP got nothing out of it. So services revenue is not there, manufacturing revenue is not there. What is left is the agricultural sector, and you don't get any taxes from the agricultural sector. So that is the state of affairs of AP when it got separated. So it always has to look towards the center, and the fiscal deficit is no wonder it will be there. It's nobody's
Right.
mistake, in fact.
Hmm.
Because you have no money, you got to either borrow or do something like that and spend money. And always your spending will be in excess of your revenue. So then your fiscal deficit will be more. You cannot blame the state of AP. If at all you want to blame, you can blame the central government because it's not the
Hmm.
central government which has not fulfilled many promises made in the Bifurcation Act. They were not fulfilled for the state of AP and Telangana also. Many promises
Right.
were not fulfilled. If those
Right.
promises were fulfilled, and the real what is that special status? Previously, we were talking about special status for the state of category status or whatever. Then there will be no taxes or very low taxes like SEG. Entire state of AP will become like an SEZ. So industry can come there without taxes.
Hmm.
They will have tax holidays and all these benefits if special category status is given to AP. But that was not given. And central government has shown many reasons for not giving special category status to AP. And they are saying that is a closed chapter now. So these many things combined together affected the
Right.
state of government AP revenues. So that is why we cannot blame the state government, but fiscal deficit is a problem. But for that reason, you cannot stop eating.
Right.
You need to do something or the other in order to get through, increase the capex. If the state has to
Hmm.
develop, and one day it has to have its own resources on its
Hmm.
own. If at all it has to be able to generate resources on its own, it has to develop industry. For that, you require capital expenditure, and all these
Hmm.
things need to come from the center. And one thing I want to say,
Hmm.
recently there is a frontline magazine on fiscal federalism, special issue on fiscal federalism, Frontline magazine. It is saying that many states are having a raw deal. If the state governments are not the BJP governments, central government, central BJP government is not giving much resources to those states. and those states which are ruled by the BJP are getting more resources underhand or whatever it might be. So this is a state almost ruled by BJP because Chandrababu is having a good say at center. BJP is partner of TDP in the state, and anyway, Janasena is in good looks of BJP and Modi. So this is almost a kind of NDA government or BJP government. So they should somehow get through and get the resources, whatever. Maybe not all, not in the normal process, not through normal process, but many states ruled by BJP are supposed to be getting resources out of the way, out of the way. Sometimes maybe not in the underhand dealing. I am saying out of the way, we are getting many resources. For example, grants in aid. Telangana's grants in aid. I remember grants in aid. Telangana government expected thousands of crores, 30,000 or 40,000 crores previously when KCR is there. It wanted to get. It expected that it will get, but it did not get even 10%, 20% of that. But the state of Gujarat is getting more than 108% of grants in aid it is expecting from the center. More than what it is expecting, it is getting from the center. UP also same case. Mostly it is getting more than what is possible for it. So BJP governments are in good looks of the center because the central government is also BJP. So somehow you are there in the BJP government, you are needed there. You can somehow you have to get the resources and do whatever is possible now. This is a golden opportunity. Previously, this opportunity is not there in 2014, 2019. When Jagan is there, this opportunity is not there. Central government is not dependent upon Jagan. It's got its own majority. When 2014, also they are not so dependent on Chandrababu. So all these things were now they are mainly dependent on Chandrababu and Nitish. Both these people could do whatever they want to do, get things done for Bihar and AP, and it is the role of Chandrababu to do the maximum for the state of AP in order to generate resources on its own for tomorrow at least.
Right. And what kind of importance has been given to the backward regions of the state, be it North
Yeah,
Andhra
it's
or
always an issue. Srikakulam, Vijayanagaram on one side, one end in the coastal region, coastal Andhra. Srikakulam, Vijayanagaram at one end, and the Anantapuram, Kadapa, Kannur, and Chittur also. These are Rayalaseema states, and those are the northeast, North Andhra states. Uttarandhra, they call it. Uttarandhra. Uttara means North Andhra. North Andhra. These are always very backward regions, particularly the Anantapur thing and Vijayanagaram, Srikakulam. They have terrible problems of their own, backwardness and all. Always there's supposed to get packages, backward region packages. They're supposed to get, but we always talk about them, but they never get that package. So hope at least now they will get a good package, and that package is implemented properly in order to make those regions self-sufficient, strong enough to be on par in the competitive terms with other districts of the state of AP.